What is up, guys? James O'Hare here, and welcome to GAMESMAS Year 2. You guys remember last year how I did GAMESMAS for 12 days, because 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. This time I'm going to shorten it down into 6 days. 6 reviews in 6 days. So, starting from today, all the way to the 18th of September, we're doing GAMESMAS. Now, so I thought, what better game to start off with than a game from my childhood, B-movie game. Now, B-movie is a really underrated DreamWorks movie in my opinion. Almost said Disney, I know the difference. It didn't fall into the same lines as Shrek, Prince of Egypt, or even Road to El Dorado. But I still liked it. It came out in 2007, and I sort of watched it because I was in kindergarten. I haven't seen it since, but I do know the story. It's the story about Barry B. Benson, who's trying to find his place in the hive. Because he wants to find something better for himself. Just like how I'm doing. It talks about a life issue when you're around my age. Trying to figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life. And that is pretty scary. So, what better way to make it a game? It stars Jerry Seinfeld and Matthew Broderick. And a lot of other stuff. And including Chris Rock as a black mosquito. You bloody racist! But of course, this is the version I got when I was in Aladala at a video store when I was a young kid. And of course I wanted this game. Well, just look at the cover. Barry's like, oh yeah, I'm cool. But like Scooby-Doo and the Spooky Swamp, I haven't played this since I was in primary school. So, what do I think of it now? Let's find out. When we first open the story of the game, it's called New Hive Tonight. Yep, this definitely takes place in a news side of the story, which I actually kind of like. I mean, it's not as good as, I don't know, the Hive at 5, but it's better than nothing. I mean, anyway, so Jeanette Chung is introducing Barry about his journey, which is played up in the movie. She talks along for hours and hours. I mean, for Christ's sake, just end it already. Anyway, the models do look good here, from what I've noticed. Great for PS2. This was also where I should mention that the game was also released on Xbox 360 and Nintendo Wii. Can't say much for GameCube, but I don't know. Anyway, Barry is getting interviewed because he is a major celebrity with a lot of product placements. Seriously, this guy must have been renamed to be Adam Sandler. He's on everything. Video games, posters, and even a movie, I bet. I don't know. But anyway, they talk for hours and hours, similarly to an interview of a famous celebrity. Barry goes over on a tangent about the whole honey strive, and then, you know what, the story's getting boring. Let's start the game. Finally, we start off with the correct mode of the game. Barry's late for his graduation, and then his father is like, I can't believe the day finally arrived. My boy's gonna work at Hunex. And then Barry's mother goes that Barry graduated with, I kid you not, straight B's. And that none of the others got straight B's. Seriously, what would a B fail be? An A minus? I don't know. But anyway, Barry's late for college and then he doesn't want, and then his parents stop him. What the hell? Yep, and then Barry's father fights with his mother, and then Barry's like, F this shit, I'm out. And so we're off into the world. Yeah, and then the screen fades, and then we get a tutorial by Adam, played by, I don't know, not played by Matthew Broderick, but all the voice actors come back. Why didn't Matthew Broderick come back? Yeah, although he does sound like Adam, but I would prefer Matthew Broderick more. Anyway, we get a tutorial, and it's one of the most hand-holding tutorials I've ever bared witness. Can we just move now? Oh, we can. So we move around New Hive City through a tutorial, and then we realize that it's an open-world game similar to GTA Vice City. I haven't actually played Vice City, so I can't make any comparisons, but it definitely looks like it. Well, from what I've seen, the biggest thing that really strikes me to GTA is the open world and the fact that you can drive in cars. How awesome is that? It's definitely sort of better in GTA, but what are you going to do? I do have to say, I do love the world of New Hive City. It's so bright and colourful and good. But the controls of the car are stiff as all hell, though. Barry on his feet controls fine, but the car driving is just the worst, man. Especially considering that the turning causes you to drift a lot.
Then we get a cutscene of Adam and Barry talking about their graduating college and starting their first day at Hunix. Anyway, Adam is really excited and optimistic about working, when Barry is a pessimist dickhead who says, we're only a stage away from death. We're a 2-stage species, Seriously, what's with all the B puns in this game? I get this is B movie, but could you please be less punny? Anyway, they talk a lot of stuff, and then we get back into the game. Honestly, Adam looks good, and Barry looks good too. But anyway, then we get a loading screen. Get used to this. This game needs to load a lot. Now, they're not as bad as Wrath of Cortex, but they are short and far too frequent. Seriously, the good part is that they're short, the bad part is that they're frequent. Anyway, we get on a bus tour around Hunix, and then it looks beautiful. I mean, well, it looks, kind of bad. Yeah, I mean, the colors are good, but some of the textures are... ew. They're not as bad as Wrath of Cortex, but, nothing too clean. Anyway, Hunix has one rule. They make honey for the rest of their life. The same job for the rest of your life. Whoa. Yep, follows the source material very well. Anyway, we arrive at the first job kiosk. Yes, to access jobs, you need to use a job kiosk. Anyway, yeah, so Adam and Barry are talking, and then Barry is like, yeah, I'll catch up with you later. I'm gonna go try some jobs that actually impacts my future. But anyway, now we get to the job kiosk, and with that, we can start the first job. I actually like the look of the job kiosks, but, oh no, you're telling me we have to do jobs? My lord. Anyway, let's go over to the job kiosk. And, yeah. So, every time we enter a new job kiosk, we get a video telling us what we have to do. It looks pretty cool. I definitely like this. A video introduction. Awesome!
I guess because GTA was the hottest thing at the time, with Vice City, San Andreas, and Simpsons Hit and Run being so good, maybe B-Movie thought that it should do the same, except without the violence, except without the guns, and except without everything else. A very kid-friendly GTA. But what about the jobs? I mean, that's the most important part of the movie. Obviously, you gotta have jobs.
Unfortunately, the jobs have nothing special to them. In fact, they're rather mediocre. They start off with a tutorial by the guy commentating. Now, unfortunately, I decided to record without audio, so you can't really hear any voice acting. But it was the best choice I made, as overclashing tones with my voice and me talking over the game instead of doing a voice recording was actually working out for the better. Anyway, this guy tells you how to do the job, like this one with the honeycomb job. The goal is that honeycombs will drop down from this little pole thing, and we have to move the tube in order to get it. And here's the catch. The golden ones are good, and the crispy ones are bad. Ooh. Hey kids, listen up here. You guys want to play a B-movie game? Well, here you go. Here's manual labor for you, where you'll be sorting honeycombs for the rest of time, because we ran out of ideas for fun minigames. Seriously, you think this is a minigame? This is so lazy. And I'm not the one and I can't be the one who only thinks this. But you want to know, my biggest gripe with them is that they're over in under 2 minutes. Well, obviously, James, what are you, simple? No. These jobs are over in 2 minutes, and they break up the monotony. The more I play this, the border I get. Seriously, it breaks up the monotony, but it turns the monotony into something mundane. Seriously, I get the job's the main part of B-movie, but don't you think this is a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, right, lazy? Before we do get into a level, however, Barry comes home and watches some TV. Loading screen later, and then boom, we're back in New Hive tonight. Pretty much every time you enter a level, a news thing plays. It's pretty cool, although sometimes I wish there was an option to turn that off. I mean, it's not bad, but it's just... So anyway, let's start a level. The first level we have is when Barry is with the Poland jocks, and this Ali Ermi ripoff, I don't know if Ali Ermi ever voiced this guy, but, it's pretty cool. He's talking to Barry B. Benson and how he's not really a Poland jock, but he's with the Poland jocks. Seriously, that's like trying to join the mafia and say you're with the Godfather. Like, well, anyway. We get more storyboard crap at the general going over the classic things and blah 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 blah. And bees cannot fly in the rain. Yes, we get that. If anyone has seen the movie, they obviously know where the scene is going. Barry's going to launch out of this thing soon. But we don't even get the classic, like, I don't know, the checklist where Barry goes, scared out of my shorts. Check! If you're going to create a movie game, then actually incorporate scenes from the movie. And then, he comes face first to the camera, and then we get a QuickTime event. Yep. QuickTime events. It's one of those games. Actually, no, it's not an interactive movie. It's more or less just, it uses one of the many gaming cliches hated by the gaming community. QuickTime events. And even the flying stages have QuickTime events. While they are enjoyable, I feel like they're unnecessary. Seriously, QuickTime events are nothing but cliche. Seriously, cliche. They're mainly used to save time. Did they run out of ideas or something? How about have a free-range flying stage where you're dodging obstacles? I mean, man. The second part of this game is actually being able to use a pollinator as a pollen jock. The goal is that you have to lock onto flowers and zap them all. It's crazy to think that the main selling point of this game is actually being utilized, where you are being a pollen jock. It's actually pretty fun, and I definitely like it. I mean, it's crazy to think this, but, Anyway, one of the pollen jocks gives you a tutorial on how to use the bloody thing, and then, well, oh yeah, you can also take pictures in this game. Pretty cool. I mean, it's fine, but, yeah, you know what? It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome, too. I like it. And also, you've got something called bee vision. This helps you highlight flowers and wilted flowers to pollinate. Although, I really don't understand why it's necessary, as you're most likely to see them even without it. But it's cool. I like it. And I still don't use it regularly, though. It's pretty cool. The levels in this game are actually scenes from the movie. We even, like this one, where Barry is on the tennis court being stuck onto a tennis ball. We have to use QuickTime events in order to get it. Again, a lackluster cliche. It's not fair. Seriously. They could have done anything. Even presented this as a bloody cutscene. I don't care. Just don't use QuickTime events. Or even make it, I don't know, enjoyable. But, it is pretty cool. And we even get the slow-mo and stuff like that. And it actually plays sort of like an interactive cutscene. It fits. I kind of like it, but I don't understand why they have to go with QuickTime events. Seriously, I'm just not a fan of QuickTime events. They're not painful, just tedious. And honestly, I really can't stand QuickTime events. I'm sorry. Well, then this part is actually rain play, where you enter wind currents and drive through the rain. The wind currents make you go wee, and they fill up your bee reflex. But what are bee reflexes? Well, what do? They slow down time. Seriously, just press that circle button and then all the drops become solid. Boom. Another cool gameplay feature is the ability to harass humans in order to hit you. Well, actually, it's more of a dodging game. Basically, what you gotta do is that you gotta turn around and do stuff. But, this guy will not shut up. Basically, what you gotta do is that you gotta turn around and try to buzz them with the buzz meter. And they'll hit you until you stop. Well, actually, the whole point of this is to actually enrage the humans so they can hit you. But it takes so long for the bar to fill up, unless you buzz around to kill time. But even that, the controls are slippery. You could slip out of the circle. Why? Why can't I just buzz and, I don't know, have a QuickTime event or something? Surely the presence of a bee would get them all round up. Seriously. But once you do complete the bar, guess what you got to do? Seriously, take a guess. A QuickTime event? Yep. This time, the girl hits you with a tennis racket as Ken tries to stomp you. And then, ooh, look at that tennis racket to the dick. Wow. Looks like Ken ain't having any kids. Whoo! And every time you end a level, you go back to New Hive City. Pretty cool. I mean, I like it.
This doesn't last very long though, as the more you play it, the more it becomes apparent that you're only doing one thing. Job missions, and then a level. Seriously, it's just doing the same constant crap on loop. And you want to know what's even worse? the amount of missions you have to do before the story opens increases. That's so messed up. The jobs are over so quickly. Why can't they just be like a mini game or something? Why do you have to do them in order to unlock the story? And not to mention, they all are boring.
Seriously, the jobs in New Hive City and Hunix are so boring. And they're so repetitive with no change. You have to do 9 trials. I can barely stand one of these. The most fun I've had with the jobs was in the racing game. And the mechanics job. Seriously, the other jobs are completely boring and completely pointless. Duh! One of my favorite scenes from the movie is when Barry's out on a picnic with Van. We get a blank screen though first, but while it loads, and then Vanessa says, "This calls for something extra special."
I think we all know what that means. Well, you think I'm actually gonna do it? You dirty bastards!
But no, Vanessa flies around on a plane, and then to show Barry that her love for her, I guess. But then Barry goes like, you're flying, Vanessa! Before she, freaking explodes!
Oh, Barry! You were one close. You were that close. But still, a bee and a human? That? Ooh. I've officially just ruined your childhood. Sorry about that.
I hate the structure of the levels. The levels have 4 different categories that are repeated throughout the game. Quick time events in flying and dodging mechanics, rain gameplay, which is easier said than done, pissing off humans to the point of them potentially killing you and having a bee funeral, and finally, Call of Duty bee warfare. That's messed up. There's nothing original.
I do love how this game tackles the source material. Not all movie license games do that. And let me talk about this. All movie license games don't follow their source material. Why not construct a game around its story and letting people play the characters and the scenes, like we saw in this, but not only in games but in games like GoldenEye and stuff like that. Why is that so hard for movie license games to grasp? But luckily, this game played its story. It plays certain scenes, but not all of them. You can't create every single scene, otherwise you might as well be watching the movie. Because, why can't New Hive City be a level? Have an objective or something. Actually create a level around New Hive City, instead of stretching it thin on some job open world GTA ripoff.
There are even boss fights in the game, such as Mario, or whoever his name is, a delivery boy who fights Barry with a safety pin against Stinger apparently, a beekeeper from Honey Farms, which tortures you with a smoke machine and tries to pulverize every bee in existence. You've messed up, bugger. And Ken, who whips the crap out of you with an Italian Vogue. Well, there are more than that, but you know what I mean. Let's continue more. And finally, there is Mr. Montgomery in the courtroom, who is about to puff you with a smoke machine and get revenge on you for getting rich. Man, is this boss fun. But after you do that, the game ends with an interactive credit scene where you're pollinating flowers. Well, that was B-movie game, so what do I think of it? Well,
this game is... This game is pretty good. It's not great, but it would definitely be worth a rental at the very least. Who made this game? Looking at the blurb, doesn't really say much. Wait. Under that stickers lies Activision. Yes, Activision published this game. And, man, Activision. Okay, this looks like I'm flipping you guys off. But man, Activision. If you can do this for this, why the hell couldn't you do that for Shrek? Why? If you could do well for B-movie, why couldn't you do the same for Shrek? messed up. Anyway, this game is pretty good, but it's just boring. The jobs are boring. The levels are fun. It's kind of split in the middle. It's going for what I call the theme park terminology. Long minutes of tedium with short bursts of excitement. Because the jobs are the tedium and the levels are the excitement. Like, whenever I get into a level, I'm excited. I get to play the story. But when I go back to New Hive City, I'm literally like, oh no. I would give this game a higher score. If I was rating this on a personal level, I honestly don't know what to give it. As my memory of this game has been blocked by nostalgia. I take nostalgia out of the card and I can still see a very solid game. But it just crapped itself. I mean, I don't know. Do you ever have that feeling, game critics, when you try to score a game and you don't know what to give it? That's how I feel right now. I don't know. Bugger it. I'll give it a 5. No, wait. I'll give it a 6, you know? Since I'm generous, my final score for B-Movie Game is a 6 out of 10. Now, the reason I'm doing this sit down is because of my walls, is that next year I am moving soon. Yes, I'm still going to be doing the same things that I've loved. I mean, I'm still going to be doing Culture Break. I'm still going to be, other stuff. But I am moving out of Waniasa and moving to Duffy. Yes, I'm going to be moving house by next year. So, by February next year. And so, yeah, just letting you guys know that I'm going to be moving soon. Actually, not soon. It's probably going to be like a month, like next month or like next 2 months. But yeah, I'm moving to Duffy and yeah, just letting you know. So the videos are going to be changed here a lot different. But anyway, that was the first episode of GAMESMAS. Come back tomorrow where I'll be taking a look at a game which I've just mentioned the name of. Run by the same company, only this time it's a game that I loved by the same company. Yes, it has something to do with Shrek. So leave your comments down below and guess and see if you can guess which one it's going to be. But anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe and share, and come back tomorrow for more GAMESMAS episodes. I'm James O'Hare, and case dismissed. Peace!